In the news, regathering getting the support of the private sector. The Holetown Festival is reporting growth. And in sports, the Lodge School retains its schoolgirls basketball title.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Very good evening. I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you so much for tuning in. In our top story tonight, the private sector has been throwing its full support behind government's Regathering 2025 initiative. This as the parish of St. Thomas prepares to host its regathering activities next month, with officials saying that major surprises are to be rolled out as the celebrations progress throughout the year. Anesta Henry has that report.
The private sector is getting involved in Regathering 2025. Minister in the Prime Minister's office with responsibility for culture, Chantal Morrow-Knight, says this contribution from corporate Barbados will play a major role in the government-led initiative being a success. She spoke about the private sector's contribution to the celebrations to bring Barbadians in the diaspora home while taking in the sights and scenes at Gathering on the Hill at the Farley Hill National Park.
We haven't talked about it a lot, but every day we are getting more and more support from the private sector, and we'll be announcing shortly a number of initiatives that will be undertaken with the private sector. We're talking things like scholarships as well, discount programs from different firms, and lots of other things that we will have coming on board.
Mrs. Morrow-Knight adds that even though it's just weeks since the year-long celebration started, it is moving along smoothly.
It's really coming on stream, and Barbadians from all walks of life are galvanizing around Regathering.
After enjoying the contents from their nicely packed picnic baskets, the crowd at Farley Hill got moving to hits performed by prominent entertainers. Enjoying the sights and scenes on the breezy hill was Mervyn Griffith, who was born in St. Peter but now lives in the United Kingdom.
We came on the 2nd, so I missed the queues, and we wanted to go to a queue back, but we missed that. So we went to, I'm now here 6 months, and we went to that 6 months park, you know.
And Beulah Wilson, who has been living in New York for the past 52 years, is happy to be home dancing with her husband under the trees on the hill.
You're from CBC, let me tell you, you're the best station. I left here 52 years ago, and I come back and still hear the same music at Christmas. I love it. You just keep me young.
United Kingdom born Pamela Griffith arrived on the island in December and is scheduled to leave in March. She has been attending multiple regathering events.
Love it, love all the people, it's really friendly, really enjoying it. And my friend is from Canada, so she's enjoying it as well.
St. Thomas will be the next parish to host the Regathering 2025 celebrations. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
The Holetown Festival continues to grow each year. That's the report from the organizing committee. Yesterday, the Holetown du Flicky was on show for both tourists and locals to enjoy. Let's hear from Akin Klinkett.
The Holetown Festival started in 1977 and has become a focal point for the town in St. James. Special plans and projects have been employed, and the du Flicky put on by the BTMI has become a special attraction for the locals and tourists. Committee member Donnie Allen says they brought back some things of yesteryear, and it has been a major hit, especially for the tourists.
Tourists like anything local. Our tourists, also our lectures are very big focus point for our tourists and our historic bus tours. So those are things that we sure brought back this year. Our lectures focus on talking about the history as well as the sustainable development. So our tourists really enjoyed those. They also, as I said, we brought back the nights for the tourists to come out every night and not only on weekends to enjoy the festival all throughout the week.
Meanwhile, popular soca artist and ambassador for the Holetown Festival Hyper Sound says the festival has been one he has been going to for years. He says the du Flicky is one event that incorporates all age groups, locals and tourists. He believes this event is good, especially considering it's during the tourism season.
From a kid coming up, we come to Holetown Festival just to see things like that. Back then it was the donkey mask and the top band. So you know what, the du Flicky now keep that culture still going. So you get the stilt walkers, you get the shaggy beards, you get people displaying the landscape. that's something that people look forward to come out, especially a lot of tourists being in the island at this time. So that's something that they're not exposed to, and the palette is open to receive such greatness.
The Holetown Dufliki was put on by the BTMI and had performances from Hypersounds himself and Shanta Prince. Barbadian folklore was also on show with the likes of the Mother Sallies, Stokemen, and Shaggy Bears. Akeem Klinkett, CBC News.
Barbados Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley is optimistic the island can be a hub for Africa. She says Barbados, given its geographic location, saw it becoming a hub for the wrong reasons in the times of slavery. Her message to Africa, the island can be a hub now for the right reasons between Africa and the region. She was at the time addressing the 38th African Union Summit in Ethiopia.
I stand here as the proud chairman of CARICOM, the Caribbean community, recognizing that as a member of the 6th region of Africa, we have come to reclaim our Atlantic destiny. We have come to ensure that the very futures of our people are different and will not once again be determined by a middleman who will ensure that the Middle Passage is one that sees our people at the bottom of the ocean's floor of the Atlantic or in the fields of the plantations of the Caribbean, but instead that it will be a future that sees our people, hears our people, feels our people.
Ms. Motley says the relationship with Africa has been sporadic over time, and countries have to determine whether the history of separation will be the future. Ms. Motley told African leaders it is only through unity that climate-vulnerable countries can confront the existential threat of this generation.
The Secretary General of the United Nations has already laid out, ably so, many of the iniquities that we continue to face in spite of political independence. It was His Majesty Haile Selassie who popularized and told us that there shall be no first-class or second-class citizens, words popularized by Bob Marley, learned by all of our people without appropriately recognizing the context in which he spoke and the mission which must be ours for generations until it is achieved.
Coming up on NewsNight, another Barbadian celebrates the special milestone of 100 years of age. The Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs decided to show a different style of love this year, Love for Health and Life. They hosted the Love, Health and Fitness Fair, and Minister Kirk Humphrey says the setup was much bigger and involved more activities.
And I think it's important that the country continues to have a conversation around HIV and AIDS and other aspects of STIs that are still infectious in Barbados. But I also think the ministry is trying to have a more serious conversation around wellness and around well-being. And these are the things that we try to push today. As you know, we were doing tests today for HIV and AIDS. We were doing tests as it relates to blood pressure and diabetes and other chronic ailments. We were looking at issues pertaining to prostate cancer and other cancers. And I just want to encourage all of Barbados to be as healthy as possible. A few days ago, I would have shared some thoughts in relation to what I think is reckless sexual behavior, and I would just wish to clarify, I'm not talking about what people do when they get to the bedroom. The reality is we're talking about people having multiple partners, people having unprotected sexual activity, or people engaging in sex without knowing the other person's status or their own status.
The minister chatted with the patrons at the event held in Warrens, and he also got his hair cut through the Man-Aware program run by the ministry. The ladies had their turn getting their brows, nails and toes done, while the men also took part in the self-care exercise, getting both pedicures and manicures. However, the main thrust was around safe sex and getting tested. Both the HIV Commission and the National Council on Substance Abuse addressed the issue. There was also condom distribution. It also served to help entrepreneurs showcase personal care products. There was a steady flow of foot traffic, and people won prizes through the One Family program by spinning the wheel. Well, the students of Springer Memorial all joined together to help 3 charities this year in a special ceremony of giving and love. Every year, the school tries to give back by asking every student to bring different items. The three charities are Verdun and Marina House, St. Barnabas Senior Citizens Daycare Center, and Kids Helping Kids. All three charities express their gratitude for the school's generosity.
We're so grateful that we were chosen. The gifts that we were given, I can assure you, is going to go a long way in helping the women. Each piece of item that we were given, we are going to use it to the best of our ability because we're a charity and any help is good help for us.
And I'm sure that, as I said, this gift will go a long way in providing for them and also for the center. We want to say thanks very much to Spring Memorial School for this gesture to the St. Barnabas Senior Citizen Daycare Center. Thank you very much.
And I really feel good that, I'm here at the Spring School. This is where I started my journey, and I feel good to know that I can give back to those in need from my old school. So thank you so much, and I appreciate all the contributions.
Well, Barbados has its newest centenarian, and her name is Justine Alls. She celebrated her birthday and was also honored at the Mount of Praise Wesleyan Church in Tudor Bridge. Miss Alls, who was born on February 16, 1925, lived in Woodstock Road and Thompson Gap, Codrington Hill, St. Michael. She worked at Codrington Plantation as a laborer, also as a domestic maid for Dr. Maynard, as well as at the Palm Beach Hotel as a laundry attendant. She had 4 children, 11 grandchildren, and 11 great-grandchildren. Family member Tyrone Cobham sang the centenarian's praises, lauding her tenacity over the years.
She is one of the most lovable, cheerful, and loving persons, always full of confidence and joy. Now you know why she is at the age of 100 today. Yes, give her what she deserves. Even at 100 years, she is strong enough to be here in the church with us this morning. She is a strong woman who continues to make herself as active as she can in the home. The joy of the Lord is definitely her strength.
Good evening with sports. I'm Anne-Marie Burke. The Junior Barbados Tridents came from behind twice to beat Belize to move up to third in Group C standings at the CONCACAF Men's Under-17 qualifiers in Mexico. After losing to Nicaragua and host Mexico and registering a 1-0 win over Dominica, the young Bajans defeated Belize 4-3 this evening in their final game. Marlon Meza booted home in the 36th minute to leave Belize leading 1-0 at the half. But they slipped up in the 55th when Defson Cartagena shot a own goal to even the scores. Belize then broke the deadlock 3 minutes later and managed to pull one back in the extra period of regulation time. However, it was Tariq Barker in the 62nd minute and Tarico Bellamy with a penalty in the 64th, followed by a field goal in the 68th that sealed the deal for the young Bajans. It means Barbados Under-17s extended their 6 points in Group C behind Mexico and Nicaragua, both with 9 points, and so they have missed the chance to qualify. The Lodge School has successfully defended their school girls basketball title. Playing at the Wildy Gym, they defeated Queen's College 34-25 in the final. CBC's Anmar Goodrich Boyce reports.
Courtside for the main event, girls basketball title on the line. Defending champions, the Lodge School in blue versus Queen's College. First half action, lots of nerves. Nobody wants to make the first error, living up to the used expectations of a final. Lodge moving up court, that's pretty smooth. St. Thomas puts the Griffins on the board. The final was a matchup between these two, Solange Holford and McKenna Clark. Holford double team, and Clark is the beneficiary. The fate poses up, add 2 more to the till. Lodge were solid on defense, and QC really had to work for their points. Dia Ford Hayes, ambitious but the lone 2, drops it in. QC trailing 14-5 at the end of the first quarter. Pushing forward to the second quarter, Clark is marked. Doesn't matter though, floater, she's pure class. But Holford's star of the basketball for long periods finally cashed in. Mid-range jumper off the rim and in. Much needed points for the husbands' girls. But the defending champs were showing why they were back playing in the championship match. Quick transition, Clark to St. Thomas, left all alone in the paint. Watch it dry. Second half, QC now need to get more points to have any saving grace. Who do they turn to? Solange Holford driving down the lane, and the hook shot is good. But Lodge were never letting QC settle. Thomas, no one for company off the backboard and in. Dearford Haynes gave QC some hope in the final quarter with shots like these from upstairs, 3 points. But the game was already out of the reach of QC, and this was the final touch. Arabella Edgel, bye-bye, game over. The Lodge School defend their title, 34-25, the final score. And more Goodrich boys, CBC Sports.
Superb all-round performances from Deandra Doughton and Captain Ashley Gardner, along with Prima Mishra's game-changing bowling performance, gave the Gujarat Giants their first victory in the 2025 Tata Women's Premier League with a 6-wicket win over the Up Warriors today. Gardner led the Giants with a chase of 144 as she led with 52 after registering 2 for 39 with the ball. Doughton, with an unbeaten 33, sealed the chase after picking up 2 wickets for 32. Sent into bat earlier, Up Warriors women posted 143 for 9, with Mishra claiming a spell of 3 for 25. 19 local athletes from 4 sporting disciplines are set to benefit from a pilot program titled BOA Youth Podium Project, designed to harness their potential. It's a collaboration between the Amron Charitable Trust, the Barbados Sports Medicine Association, and the Barbados Olympic Association. The first cohorts range from age 16 to 23 and compete in sports such as track and field, judo, tennis, and wrestling. Senior Operations Officer at the BOA and the lead of the project, Kendia Brathwaite, says it's a well-rounded approach.
The BOA Youth Project Podium is not just another program, but is a launching pad for greatness, a launching pad for success for the athletes and our organization as we continue to aim to be the leader among leaders, as our pillars say. Yes, this is a small group and it is a pilot, but this is a mere fraction of the sporting excellence that we know we have in Barbados. So our vision, therefore, is bold, and we see these athletes competing successfully. However, this success obviously doesn't happen by chance, and it requires intentional and, targeted investment for both body and mind.
The primary objective of the program is to cultivate the physical and mental resilience of the youth, fostering a generation of athletes capable of achieving success at the highest levels of international competition.
Over the next 12 months, the program will continue, and these athletes will continue to engage with these professionals to help hone their skills and to ensure that they're prepared for the best possible performance. And the goal is that we can have these athletes who are junior athletes, youth athletes, represent Barbados at Youth Olympic Games, Junior Pan Ams, with a vision of seeing them compete at even higher levels. So the Pan Am Games, the Senior Pan Am Games, and the Olympics, and Commonwealth Games, and so on. So the multi-sport games that really and truly the BOA is responsible for.
And that's sports. The weather is next with Kerry-Ann O'Neill.
Good evening and welcome to the weather news. The high-pressure system is our dominant feature today in Barbados. As a result, we had fair to partly cloudy skies along with just a few light showers. The winds are gusty across the island and the seas, they are above normal. We do have a small craft warning and high surf advisory in effect. The maximum temperature today was 29 degrees Celsius, the minimum 24 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 26 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity, 69%. The winds, they're coming in from the east. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where the high-pressure system was our dominant feature. As a result, we had fair to partially cloudy skies, along with just a few light showers. And that satellite photo is coming up shortly, where I can tell you we had up to just around 4.6 millimeters of rainfall over there in St. Philip. Meanwhile, the winds quite gusty, up to 35 knots. The seas moderate to rough in open water, with swells peaking at 3.5 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. We do have a small craft warning and high surf advisory in effect. Now later on tonight, we can expect fair to partly cloudy skies along with just a few light showers. Over there across the Guianas, they had some isolated thunderstorms during the afternoon. Over now in the Western Caribbean, fair to partly cloudy skies along with light showers prevailed across most of the islands. Well, that's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 6:20 and will set at 4 minutes past 6. Now the first high tide, that's expected at 6:36 in the morning, the first low at 15 minutes past midnight. The seas moderate to rough in open water with swells peaking at 3.5 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. The winds, they're coming in generally from the east and they're peaking at 45 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, we can expect fair to partly cloudy skies along with just a few light showers. And over the next 3 days, a mix of sunshine, clouds and showers can be expected.
Well, that's our news for tonight. On behalf of the entire team, thank you so much for tuning in. Good night.